Good evening and welcome to Travel Talk with Lori.
And Bill.
And Bill. Yes, and Bill. We're here tonight to talk about our trip to Amsterdam, our river cruise. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Rocky Mount Toyota, because they definitely are the place to buy a new car or a
Pre-owned car.
Definitely are. Yes, they are. So we want to give a big shout out to them.
They did us right with our pre-owned.
Yes, they did. So tonight we're going to talk about our Avalon Impressions cruise to see the tulips. And we're going to start with the first couple of days, and we'll talk about it, and we're going to show lots of pictures, and we're going to explain everything that went on, and then, of course, we'll pick up next week and do day 3 and 4.
Okay. Sounds
What do you
good.
think? Yep, because you can't talk about the whole week in 30 minutes. It don't work, okay?
That was our cabin on board the Impression. That's the bed facing the window.
Yes, it was. It definitely was.
That was so comfy.
And not only that, being able to lay there with that window open was like a huge, huge screen TV when you could watch everything that you were going by on the river.
Especially at night, laying in there, not really worried about the TV much, just picking up on the scenery going
Yep,
by.
definitely was. Definitely was. Yep. But it was a nice experience. It was a nice room. And, of course, I have to take pictures of the bathroom, okay, because I'm a bathroom girl. I got to see how the bathroom looks. This was really an amazing bathroom to me.
And the soap and the lotion that they left in there was unbelievable.
It was. It was such a great smell, and it worked so well. Definitely will spoil you when you have that. And of course, they have 2 different color towels. They have a brown set and a white set. And that is so everybody knows which color towels they're using,
Yep.
which was a neat idea to me.
And right behind the lavatory there was some sort of scents that wicked up through them sticks there and gave off a really good smell.
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
It did. It definitely did.
It was almost like a cinnamon smell,
Yeah.
cinnamon vanilla smell.
Uh-huh, it was. That's what I was going to say. It kind of smelled like cinnamon vanilla both to me. But it was a nice, it was just amazing how comfortable the whole thing was. A shower. I loved the shower, okay? Let me go into you now. I loved the shower, okay?
Huge shower head.
And it was just amazing, okay?
Yep, enjoyed getting in that every morning.
And I can tell you the shampoo and conditioner were wonderful they had in those little pump station in the shower. I didn't post that picture, but we do have some of it. But this was a wonderful experience. Looking out our
Stateroom, that's the Queen Elizabeth II.
Yeah, and that was amazing to look across and see her sitting there. So we actually got to see.
Well, she wasn't sitting there. She was sitting a little further up the river.
Yeah, well.
But she was pulling into port.
But it was nice to see her coming into port and to be able to take that picture. That was nice. And we saw that right outside our panorama window. Yep, sure did. Now, here is something that was both our favorites, the coffee. The coffee on board.
You were more so the hot chocolate on board.
I was, but the coffee was still really good, okay? It was.
But the hot chocolate, she drank more hot chocolate than she did coffee.
Because it was just wonderful, the best hot chocolate I had ever had.
Yeah, it might have had something to do with the Belgium chocolate in it.
It could have had, yep. And here is our welcome aboard toast. Yep.
We all gathered in the upstairs meeting room and
Did a toast.
did a toast. And right behind us there is where the Queen Elizabeth II was moored in Amsterdam.
Yeah, and that's looking out the back. Is it not the back or the front?
No, that's out the front.
Front of the ship. Okay, that's out looking out the front of the ship. Okay. Now here is when we were in the dining room for the very first time. Here is the tables, how they set them up. And that guy there, you can see the picture, he was actually our waiter
Yep.
for the week.
The food was exquisite.
It was. The food was just wonderful on board. I was talking earlier with a client and I was saying the food. You know, at breakfast and lunch it was a buffet. They had a huge salad bar every day.
And right behind where that waiter is where the buffet was set up.
But then at dinner, they waited on you at the table, and it was a wonderful experience. Here would be our first dinner meal on board.
I can't remember what you had there.
I think it was steak.
Okay.
It was steak I had. It's exactly what that is.
Sitting on a pallet of some sort of potatoes.
Yep, it sure was.
Almost like a scallop type potato.
Yep, it was. And of course, this is dessert. That apple
Yep.
that we had, which was amazing, okay? Everybody knows you have to talk about dessert. Everybody knows you have to. But the food was just incredible to me. Now here is breakfast the next morning when we were getting ready we were in Rotterdam, we're getting ready to go out. The chef came out and cooked omelets
At an omelet station.
every morning, and they were just fantastic.
Anything you wanted in them,
Yep, and I don't think I've ever had an egg quite that good.
except for mine.
Yes, except yours. You're right, honey, except for yours, okay? Yep. But the thing I noticed was all the food was extremely good, all the fruit. I fell right in love with the fruit. The fruit was so good. Now here is another shot of some of the stuff we had for breakfast, the ham and cheese and hash browns and the bacon. But they had like those trays of the meat. They had,
All kinds of meats.
they had the one that I love so good.
Bruschetta?
It's like almost like country ham, but it's, yeah, and I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, it was all wonderful. The food was just incredible. Now, I had been told by our representative from Globus that I had to try
A mimosa.
a mimosa. So the first morning, I did try the mimosa, okay, for breakfast.
And that wasn't the only morning she tried a mimosa at breakfast either.
I did the first morning, though. I knew I had to try it the first morning, so I tried the mimosa.
I had straight orange juice.
Yes, you did have straight orange juice.
There's my pancakes.
Yep. There are your pancakes and your coffee sitting there. Certainly are. They had good pancakes, too.
Yes, they did. Those were blueberry pancakes, actually.
Yep. They were one of those orders you can make off the menu.
Yep.
That they went to the back and had them done in the back. But they were wonderful pancakes. I don't think we had anything to eat on the river cruise ship that I would say we shouldn't have had. Now, here's a scene we took
In Rotterdam.
in Rotterdam out of our room,
Yes.
okay? Because you can tell we were across from it. And you can just see a little bit of the snow that we had that morning.
Yeah, we had snow.
Just a little bit of the snow we had.
Over where the Kuchenhof tulip demo was, they had about 4 inches of snow
Well,
there.
Kuchenhof is the biggest display of tulips they have. So we were very fortunate. We were so excited that next morning that's where we were going to go. But overnight it has snowed.
And you see people out on bicycles over there in the snow, pedaling across the bridges.
To work. Yeah, and it was amazing to see how many of them were pedaling on their bikes to work. This bridge was amazing to me. Before it got daylight, you could see the lights on it.
It was all lit up in red.
Yeah, it was amazing to see before the sun came up.
And then the city got busy.
And then, of course, you can't see the bikers on that bridge, but we could see them when we looked out. They were biking right across that bridge in the snow. It was an amazing feat to me to see them biking in the snow, but they were. In fact, in Amsterdam and even in Rotterdam, they ride almost everywhere on bicycles. Now there we are on the motor coach going to Kirkenhaven. There we are.
It was chilly that day.
Yeah, all wrapped up. Figured out that first day we didn't take warm enough clothes, okay?
Well, the week before it was in the 70s over there.
Yep.
And the week we were there, we had snow.
No. And of course, our tour guide on board our motor coach let us know that about every 8 or 9 years, once they get in the tulip season, they have snow.
And we were the lucky year to have
We
the
were
snow.
lucky. We got to see the snow. So here's a shot of the road as we're driving down with a motor coach to get to Kirkenhof from where we were docked in Rotterdam. And of course, I had to take this picture out the window, and of course you can see the reflection. But it shows all the snow. I was just amazed at how much snow. And then we got to Keukenhof to see the tulips. And
Poking through the snow.
And this is what we saw, tulips poking through the snow. But it was still even amazing to see all the gorgeous colors with the white on top of them. It was just amazing to see all outside, all the snow on the tulips.
But the ones inside were, unbelievable.
They were, and we're going to see plenty of them in just a minute, but I still think the colors popping through, they were just gorgeous.
Some of the cherry trees had blooms on them, and we saw some that were snapped off.
Yep, and here are the, these aren't tulips, they're, yep. I just personally call them purple flowers, but I know that's not the name for them. And so here's the pink variety of those purple flowers too. But they had snow all over. But they were still gorgeous. Now here's when we were getting closer to where we were going to see them inside. You can see just a little bit.
And here's inside.
Yep, now here's inside. And it was like a huge, huge flower market, except what they do is they display each
bulb distributor had their own display of what bulbs they sold, and after the bloom they just come in and mow them right down. Then they dig all the bulbs up, let them sit on the ground there and dry up, and do it all over again starting in the fall.
But the colors were so amazing. I mean, everything, every color you could imagine.
That was almost a black colored tulip. It was so purple it was almost black.
Yeah, it was, and I thought those were some of the deep purple ones we saw. But it was just the amount of colors was just unreal to see in that
And
place.
shapes of the tulips themselves. Yes. There were so many different shapes to them.
I mean, the colors were just so vivid. You know, the purples and the reds and the oranges and the yellows and the pinks were just so vivid. And it was, and like you said, every one seemed to be a little different. Some of them had a little different shape, a little different shade of color. Of course, being that purple is one of my favorites, I had to make sure I took plenty of the purple ones.
Yes, I did. And those red and white ones were really pretty in person.
Oh, they were. They were. Absolutely. But I don't think, it would be hard for me to pick my favorite out of all the array of colors we saw and how gorgeous they all were. Some of them were smaller than the other ones, some of them were bigger than the other ones. But they were all just so pretty. And this was such a nice place to see the tulips.
Highly recommend going on that tulip cruise. Highly recommend.
Yes, I do. I mean, you know, even to have been there in the snow and say, here's the red and white ones, some white ones behind it. Even for us to have been there in such an odd event as the snow, it was just gorgeous to see all these flowers.
Yep.
Tons and tons of colors and tulips, and it made you want to take them all home. Of course, we couldn't bring these home. You could order the bulbs from there.
Yes.
And they would ship them to you.
Just different shapes.
It was definitely a very fun day.
Yeah.
Even though I like to froze, it was a fun day, and we enjoyed it. It was so nice to walk around inside and warm up a little bit.
One thing we did notice over there, they don't like to handle cash. They pretty much strictly go with the card.
Oh, they do. They do. We found that out almost right away.
Yeah, I had cash on me and I couldn't get rid of it.
And we'll talk about where we finally did get rid of it at another show, because that's way down in the week.
That's in Belgium.
Yep, but these were just such pretty flowers. And it was such a great day to walk around and see all the flowers, and then to
get on that warm bus
and explore again outside before we got on the warm bus. Because in just a few pictures, we're going to see that windmill that was on property where they sold the wooden shoes and then they sold some bulbs. Here's the windmill that was on property. And that was like a little store when you were on the other side.
Yep.
You know, they had wooden shoes and they sold the bulbs there too. You could purchase them there and they would ship them home to you. But as you can tell, everybody is bundled up in their winter coats.
Oh yeah, you needed them that day.
Definitely the next time we do a river cruise, I'm going in the summertime so I can enjoy it. But I mean, we did enjoy it. It was just the weather and you didn't expect it. But then I'll know the next time, because I would love to go back and do this river cruise again at some point. And I would definitely be prepared for if it snowed.
And we have all kinds of rivers to choose from. That was our tour guide.
Yep, on the inside we were looking at the flowers. She was wonderful. She
Very
had so much
knowledgeable.
knowledgeable and information for us. She was an amazing tour guide. She could tell you all about the flowers. There I am. I had to get my picture made with the purple ones. Yep, there I am. Purple flower.
And she was cold and she was still bundled up.
I was a little chilly.
Lori's chilly below 70.
Yes, yeah, 62. I'm gonna need a jacket on, light jacket, okay?
Yeah.
But you can just see all the colors. And here are the wooden shoes that we saw with that windmill.
Yep.
And they were just the neatest things to me sitting out there. It probably would have been even more neater had they not had snow in them.
Yeah.
Because they had that huge wooden shoe that you could get in. Oh, I couldn't resist. We had to show the farm animals we saw on the property.
Okay.
Because this was amazing how big the chickens were and the bunnies.
Oh, the bunnies were huge.
I mean, you know, it was just amazing to see. They had this nice little petting zoo right there in the middle of the tulips. Of course, they didn't have a lot of people petting animals in the snow, but it was just amazing to see the chickens and the bunnies
And the goats.
and the
sheep.
goats, sheep. Yep. It was just so fun to see the animals. And there's the rooster.
Yeah, he was having a good time.
And he was a pretty big rooster too.
Yeah.
He was a pretty good sized rooster. I was just amazed. But the next slide or two we'll see those bunnies, and they were big. Okay, this kind of gives you an idea of the area we were in when we were taking these pictures. It was a nice area, and I know in like warmer weather it would be a nice little petting zoo.
Yeah. There's the bunny.
There's the bunny. That is a huge bunny. And his partner
Mate.
on the other side, mate, yep, on the other side. But they were huge bunnies.
They were probably the size of our dogs.
Probably. I would expect they were. They were probably a good 25, 27 pounds, wouldn't you think? They
Yeah.
were big. I was amazed at them. Of course, our youngest granddaughter would love to go see them.
If it's got fur on it, she's petting it.
Yep. At 5 years old, fixing to be 6 years old, she loves her animals. So this kind of gives you an idea of the area we were in, the nice walking paths at Kirkenhoff.
And they had all those cleared off.
They did. They cleared off all the walkways, which was amazing. And that's another bunny sitting there. Yep. Big bunnies. And we saw this on our way out. Now, this is when we got back to the ship for lunch.
Yep.
We got to them. They had wonderful soups. Wonderful soups.
All
for lunch.
made that day.
Yes, wonderful homemade soups that they have. They sure did. And it was just nice to get back and be able to have lunch, and it'd be so nice.
And it was a different soup at dinner.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I don't think we ever had the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Soups or desserts or anything. I think something else that we both really enjoyed at lunch, besides the vegetables and everything they had, because they had so many different varieties of everything and the way they cooked food.
And they also had a carving station of different types
They
of
did.
meats.
They did. Every day was a different meat they had at the carving station. It certainly was. Oh, and the rolls.
The rolls were good.
They were definitely good. But
There's my Sunday.
Yep, there's dessert. They made they made certain amount of flavors. What was it, 4 flavors a day, 2 flavors a day
2 flavors a day.
of ice cream. They made it on board the ship every
Yep.
day, and it was the best stuff. I don't think we had any kind that I didn't like, because that coconut ice cream was wonderful.
Yeah. Pistachio was off the charts.
And then they had that coffee that day that was good.
Yeah. And they had one girl that's what her specialty was making the ice cream. There's a pistachio
Yeah,
right there.
that was awesome. The pistachio was. And of course, being the foodie people we are, we had to try both kinds every day when we had it. I don't think they had anything we didn't try.
No. Unless with me it was in the fish category.
Well, I'm talking about on the ice cream.
The ice
they
cream,
made.
yeah. I tried them all.
Yeah. We definitely tried different varieties of the food. But, and of course, we didn't eat everything they had food-wise, but we definitely ate all the ice cream. Definitely ate all the ice cream. I think you always got yours with whipped cream, and I think I occasionally did, but a lot of times I got it without ice cream and nuts.
Hey, it
I
was
just
fresh
liked,
made whipped cream. Couldn't resist.
you know. And that was the thing. A lot of the stuff on board that river cruise was fresh made right there on the ship.
Well, when they have a maximum of 177 passengers, you know, it's not hard to make, you know, specialized meals that way.
And this picture here is when we were leaving Rotterdam.
Yep.
When we were underway to leave Rotterdam.
That's a huge statue of an anchor.
Yep, and so there again, we took this from our room,
Yep.
looking out. I mean, that day, it was just amazing to take a time down in the room and just watch what was going by on the river, because there were so much we saw.
And the river was a little rough that day, but you didn't feel it on the ship at all.
No, you didn't. But it was just, to see everything you could see, it was definitely the perfect way to see it. I mean, you could just kick back in bed and just watch it like you would TV.
Yep.
Because we got to see a lot of interesting things just riding down the river. Now, this was our day in Rotterdam. This was actually day 2. We boarded in Amsterdam. This was day 2. So we thought we'd break it down. We've done the date we arrived, and we did Rotterdam on the night show. Then next week, we're going to do the next 2 or 3 days and
Okay.
show you what we saw and what we did. Because we had some fun.
Yes, we did.
We saw a lot. We enjoyed a lot of the local foods.
Yes, we
You know, the
did.
day we did those canal tours, each day we got to sample something different as far as food-wise. And then the day we went to the castle, we got that wonderful apple pie
Oh, Dutch
with-
apple pie.
with,
Oh my
with the
goodness.
ice cream on top,
Yeah.
which was
and
one.
steaming hot chocolate.
Yes, that was just amazing.
Hit the spot because, trust me, it was chilly that day too.
So we enjoyed being in Amsterdam. We enjoyed everywhere we went in Amsterdam.
Netherlands.
The Netherlands, and in Belgium. We
Yep.
enjoyed Belgium. We enjoyed the river cruise, so we thought we would share a lot of the pictures we took, and we'll talk about what we did. And of course, if you've got questions about river cruising, please give us a call. Please reach out to us, because we had a fantastic experience, and we definitely would recommend it. And even if you love ocean cruising, then I think you'll fall right in love with the river cruising.
Oh, yeah.
Because we did in Europe. Now, we all know the big event that happened this week that I've waited till now to announce and talk about is that effective Sunday night, we no longer have to COVID test to come back from international travel.
Sounds great.
So I think that's a wonderful accomplishment. Now, if you're going to fly to Europe to go on a river, go on an ocean cruise, you still do have to COVID test at this time. But with things starting to change, we are really looking forward to when a lot of these COVID rules
Disappear.
disappear and are yesterday's news. So we'll keep announcing everything new that happens. That happened on Sunday night. That was a wonderful achievement for the travel world, and hopefully we're going to keep right on getting better and better and better, and more people can travel.
And at this time, it's still required that, 90% of passengers are vaccinated
On an ocean cruise.
on an ocean cruise.
Yep, on ocean cruising, you have 90% have to be vaccinated. But we are getting better and better by every month, and so who knows? 6 months from now, we could be in a lot better place for travel.
I hope so.
Of course, for those of us that are vaccinated, we got vaccinated so we could travel.
And boosted.
Right, because we want to travel. So we'll look forward to seeing you next week when we talk some more about our trip, our river cruise, and show you some of the other sites we saw, all the historical buildings and everything we saw, because it was amazing. Just as amazing as Kirkenhof
Yes.
was. We saw a lot of very amazing and impressive places. So join us next week here at 7 o'clock, where we'll be talking about some more of our Avalon River Cruise.
Sounds good. See you next week.
Have a good week. We'll see you back next Tuesday night.